Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 13th of February, 2021. Coming up in this episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Public inquiry bad, contracts good. More filibusting and more social BS coming at you. Stick around.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthy.
This is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on politics, social, economic issues, and life. Here's Crusty.
Listener discretion is advised. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, back at you live here. Well, not really live, just recording this. But yeah, coming at you in another exciting episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. As I mentioned, yes, contracts good, public inquiry bad. Yes, more misinformation guidelines and more BS coming our way in the aspects of our daily lives, i.e. social media and what we watch on television, what have you too. And just a reminder, folks, if you like and hear what you see, please, by all means, click the notification bell on YouTube. Click like, subscribe, share this all around. Check out my other platforms. You can find me on Gab, Telegram, Signal, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and, of course, Podbean, where I do this podcast. Anyway, moving on. Yes, Justin Trudeau and his contract BS. Of course, Miss Anand, again, talking about hush, hush, hush about the contracts, and yet this country can't get the vaccines. Now, I've had lots of information come my way in regards to how they're treating this whole beer bug issue and other pandemics. It's magically how, the flu's not around anymore. Oh, gee, but there's all these other ailments that are stopping us from our daily lives. Now, some of the provinces are opening up, lifting some restrictions. And yet, of course, in the mainstream media, they keep telling us all these infections are coming and going, and all these people are these cases, they're popping up. And yet they forget to emphasize that it's cases. It's not actual diagnoses, it's cases, okay? And there's a few more nurses and doctors out there that are stepping up to this BS, standing up and trying to figure out what is right, tell us the right things, and try to calm us down, which is good, I say, which is good. But this is more just a spiel for me today because I'm really pissed the way things are going. Honestly, I'm really pissed with the way things are going when it comes to this whole issue in regards to why can't we get vaccines to people that need them. Now, contrary to the myth of how, I can't speak English right now. Contrary to the myth of how all these vaccines are supposed to cure us from all amiable diseases and all that good stuff, they still haven't come up with a proper vaccine that will cure the flu or the common cold. But there are flu shots that will stop you from getting the flu, apparently. Okay, I get it. So what's the magical thing in these vaccines that are supposed to help us along the way? There's reports out there in the States and in Canada of certain practitioners, i.e. some nurses and some doctors and some well-to-do people getting the shots, and they end up getting sick. And not just, upset tummy and the poopies, lack of a better term, but actually bedridden sick. Some to a point where, they won't wake up. There's actually reports somewhere, I'll have to put it on the description there, but of an actual individual that died from said vaccination or passing out. So which is it? And why is it such an issue for our country that has spent millions upon millions of dollars in helping the less fortunate around the world, cannot procure a proper vaccination for our people? What's the issue? Contracts with Moderna, contracts with Pfizer, contracts with Novavax on the so-called place they're going to build to make things bright and sunny for everybody, right? Which is it? Which is it, ladies and gentlemen? What is coming and going? What is happening here? Right, all this money that is spent in procuring certain items and PPE and everything, and we can't get our shit together when it comes to getting a vaccine to give to the masses of people that want them. Now, personally, I don't want one. I don't need a shot. I haven't had a flu shot in fucking 10 years, and I don't really want one, to be honest with you. Okay? I try to eat right, try to keep my head above water, try to do the right thing. Right? I know the majority of Canadians out there do the same thing, too. And there are people out there that want to get a flu shot. So be it. What you want to put in your body, as far as I'm concerned, is your personal choice. Doesn't matter if you smoke cigarettes, drink lots of beer, lots of coffee, lots of tea, what have you. Fine. Do what you want to do. Your temple is your fucking temple, and you're allowed to treat it any way you want to. However, with all this vaccination BS that's been going on. All these government officials sitting there scratching their butts and picking their noses going, oh, what are we going to do with this? They know what's going to be done with it. And I am so sick and tired of the blame game from previous governments that have said this and said that, and let's not do this and let's not do that. For fuck's sakes, get the ball rolling, okay? We can all agree that the liberal brand now that's in this country, the liberal brand has been tarnished for a very, very long time, okay? Really, what have they done? Trudeau keeps lying. He always comes out every day from the Rideau Cottage and give us a briefing every day at 11:30. This is what's happening today. Yes. Oh, Canada, I love you so much. I just got to hide away in a fucking cottage without showing his face in fucking Parliament. Cowardice, okay? And all these other so-called ministers and know-it-alls have to keep hush, hush, hush about contracts. And about, oh, if we say this, then we might not get this. And if we say that, we might not get that. It's like, well, what is it then? What kind of contract you sign with a company, okay, any company for that matter, that forbids you to speak about it? Right? What kind of qualms, what kind of deal are they going to get? You know, if they provide a service, should you not be transparent about said service? Right? Didn't they do that with cigarettes back in the 80s and 90s to tell people what's in those tobacco products? Doesn't matter if you're chewing it. Doesn't matter if you fucking spit it. Doesn't matter if you smoke it or roll it or fucking use it like catnip. They still had to give you warning labels of what's on it. So what's the problem with these vaccines? Huh? Why can't we discuss it? Why can't the public know about it? Oh, that's right. The liberal brand is moving forward. How forward are we going to go when you're throwing us in the fucking dark? What say you? Crusty B Canuck 67 at gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. You can also find me on Gab, Telegram, right? And other platforms too. Also, you can follow me on Supercast. I'll leave links in the description. You can help me out a great deal on Supercast. Join today. You know, if you want to give $5 a month, that's great. If you don't want to give $5 a month, that's great too. You can stick on my podcast for free. But ladies and gentlemen, the way things are going right now, every little bit of donation helps. So if you want to join the page, by all means, please join the page. It has its perks. I've got merchandise, or you can donate your own way. Please consider donating today. I'd like to make this a full-time commitment because the job market in my area is a little tough these days. And I've dedicated a lot of time and effort into this podcast, and I want to make it better. And with your assistance, great things will come our way for all of us. Anyway, moving on again with the whole public inquiry bad and contracts good. More filibusting and misinformation too. Now, a lot of mainstream media is commenting about the whole filibusting and the misinformation. And of course, Facebook and other big conglomerates are warning about penalties about misinformation. So which is it then? Right? If you're going to promote these big campaigns to stop people from misinformation and spreading falsehoods and all that, why don't you promote the truth? If you get all these fact checkers that sit around all goddamn day, picking their nose, picking their bums, worried about safe spaces and feelings, you can bloody well get the fucking truth out there, can you not? You know? Or am I way off? Am I way out of line? Oh, pardon me. Yes. Heaven forbid if I say something truthful. But, you know, what do I know? I'm just some crusty old bastard. Heaven forbid. You know? But which brings me to the next point, too. You know? I think today's Canadian polar vortex of bullshit. Well, I'll let you decide. But here's the intro first.
The Canadian polar vortex of bullshit.
The award goes to the Liberal Party of Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, the Liberal Party of Canada, the Federal Liberal Party of Canada, that is. Polar vortex of Canadian bullshit goes to them. For more of their lies and manufacturing bullshit and their filibusting crap. See, that's a funny word, too. Because we heard filibusting the first time when Justin Trudeau, you know, was filibusting the whole issue with the WE contracts. When he prorogued Parliament back in August. And they try to filibust it to stop people from finding the truth. And yet there's more filibusting now going on with these contracts and the vaccines. So the Conservatives tabled a motion to get, you know, things out there in the open for the general public. And, you know, I will say hats off to the Conservative Party of Canada for playing the good part of the opposition and trying to get the information out to the Canadians. But still, more bullshit. We can't get any information, any decent information, from a minority government. So what's that tell you about our democracy? Do we just quit it and give it up? Right? It's not okay to be communist, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. And I don't want to see that. But I want to see a little more transparency, like proper transparency, and more government officials actually taking a stand for something bigger than their fucking paychecks and their pride and their parties. Stand for their constituents. Which brings me to the next point, too. I actually had a phone call there yesterday from our constituent in this area. I'm not going to mention his name and everything, but some of you probably figured it out. But no, we had a good talk. We talked about 20 minutes about democracy, freedom, sacrifice, freedom of speech. Because I mentioned on my other shows that I actually gave him a call a few weeks back in regards to what Stephen Gilbert was doing for the whole let's censor, the internet so people have to pay a price so we don't have hate speech and all that bullshit. So basically, it's more or less 1984 on crack. But you see my point. You look up Stephen Gilbert and the Heritage Minister and his fucking fight for stifling expression and freedom of speech and all that. And yet here's the same fucking clown who climbed the CN Tower to express himself. And he was the first one to complain about stifling expression. What a hypocrite. But needless to say, myself and the MP, we had a good talk. Democracies and freedoms and how we, have to still respect our political opponents. Now, okay, I can agree to that. Now, as a guy who wants to throw his hat in the ring for the VCP party, the Veterans Coalition Party, I can agree with polite debate and good conversation. But usually debates lead to something getting done. Usually a good dialogue and conversation lead to things like results and solutions to said problems. And yet all these so-called debates we've seen on CPAC, on CTV, CBC, and other fucking affiliates that represent this country ever so well failed to prove any kind of solution to these predicaments. Now, if it was up to me, I'd fire those clowns in the procurement board and get a contract that is transparent, that is going to be proving effective for the masses that want said vaccine or that want said PPE or that want things to get done in this country. Because we've all paid enough bloody fucking taxes to make that happen, right? From roads to bridges to schools to medicine to healthcare, everything that we hold dear in this democracy is being compromised because of these clowns in the procurement board and the financial boards, and sadly enough, the judicial boards too. Okay, I'll leave links in the description there about a nice article from iPolitics in regards to the whole hush, hush, hush about the contracts again. But anyway, here's a word from my sponsors.
This is Brian Boucher, the new CEO of Canuck Gold Corp. We have gold at 99% purity with discounts ranging from $100 up to $200 off the ounce. This is the right place to buy, from 2-gram cards to 400-ounce bricks. We have any quantity of gold you are looking for. We also sell by the ton, not like your ex-wife. Visit us today at canudgold.com, C-A-N-U-N-D gold.com.
Well, smack my ass and call me Judy.
In October of 2015, Lindsay Robbins, like many of her fellow Canadians, was struggling with the turmoil of mental illness. The ups and downs of what she was going through was shaping her realities, and she longed for structure. As luck would have it, that structure presented itself to her in the form of gardening. And through gardening, Lindsay had an awakening that led her to create Produce for Heroes. Lindsay realized that our veterans were going through their own mental struggles, and through her own experience, she realized the power of community. By desiring to help the way that she had been helped, she has created a program that provides relief to veterans. Her food program, which aims to provide veterans and their families relief from the stresses of food insecurity and help alleviate the cost of living for those that have sacrificed so much for their country. Whether it's through directly contacting Produce for Heroes or through a friend's referral, all veterans and their families living in Canada are welcome. By shining a light on the struggle of veterans and their families, Lindsay is hoping to get her fellow Canadians to hop on board and support Produce for Heroes and our great veterans. If you or a veteran you know needs help, ProduceForHeroes.com is a great place to start.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can also talk to Brian and Scott via canungold.com and get a hold of Lindsay at Produce for Heroes. The links will be in the description under the sponsorship heading. Yes, carrying on again with more of this public inquiry, bad, contracts, good, BS. Yes, more garbage. But here's another word from the Liberal Party.
Western Canada.
Oh, my mistake. I was from Western Canada, wrong soundbite. Anyhow, all the more reasons to represent Western Canada and Canada proudly, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'm coming at you from Western Canada. Anyway, more of these filibustering BS garble farbs. And cancel culture, too. I should have mentioned that earlier as well. I guess big news out of the States is Miss Gina Carino, the MMA extraordinaire and kind of action star extraordinaire, getting canceled and getting fired from Disney Star Wars, all because of an Instagram post she put up. Now, the funny thing is I've seen that Instagram post before from other people, not necessarily celebrities for that matter, but when you think about it, she actually made a very, very valid point. Okay? And obviously, by the looks of that picture and what she said, she was not siding with anybody beating up Jewish people or picking on Jewish people. She was making a valid point about the politics of today. Okay? And I've dwelled in this in other episodes too, about all the Carls and Karens using the so-called health rat lines to rat people out. She made a point about ratting people out. Right? That means everybody can do it. And she used the World War II example. It's that obvious. But of course, all these young people and all these so-called woke individuals sitting around and reeing in their jeans because they see things they don't like. Oh, they have to go hide. How dare you say such bad things? I guess you've never been chewed up by an adult before as a young child, eh? Yeah. Humility will work its way into your weary heads, kids. Think about that. But that's all I've got to say about that, and I'm not going to worry too much in regards to what she's going through. I think she's a talented fighter. I've seen some of her fights on television, and she really kicked ass and took names. And she trained hard for it, so I think she's earned a little more respect than what Disney has given her. And it's because of her character and just the way the story is set about The Mandalorian. I think she had a really good impact in that series. A strong character, ex-rebel soldier fighting the old Imperial troops, great background. And, hats off and a big salute to Jon Favreau for creating such a great fucking story. It's just too bad some of his bosses are dicks. But hey, we can't be perfect, right? But I'm sure she'll overcome and she'll adapt. And good for you, Miss Carino. And by chance, if you're listening to this podcast, well done on you, madam. Kick ass, take names. Don't fucking give up. Anyway, moving on again with more of this fucking filibustering bullshit. We keep hearing these words, and we know they're just blatant excuses, ladies and gentlemen. Regardless of how many facts have come and gone or what's going to be deemed as misinformation or not, it's up to us, the individuals, to find it and to figure it out to the best of our abilities. Okay? One of the reasons I do this podcast is I want to put these guys into question. I want to put them on the spot. Because the last time I checked, we still had freedom of speech in this country, right? Even though it's going to be compromised in maybe the next few months or in the next little while. And of course, a little birdie told me that this June there might be an election in this country. So we'll have to see, right? That conversation I had with the MP yesterday, we were discussing that. He didn't really say, right? But he also kind of hinted it too. And what's great about the MP that we had, that he called, I thanked him for calling. And I told him, so my loyalties are not really with the Conservative Party. My loyalties consist of liberty, peace, and freedom, and security. And he kind of applauded that in his own way, which is good, And I've talked to this gentleman before numerous times, and he's an intelligent human being, well-educated, street smarts. Right? He actually worked in the patch for about 10 years, so he knows how the oil industry works in this country. So he's very, very well-based when it comes to trade and commerce and key industries that this country has to offer people, and other parts of the world, too, for that matter. So, like I said, we had a great talk, a good conversation, and we just kind of, agreed on a lot of things. But that doesn't mean I'm going to give any money to the Conservative Party. And I told him that, and I said I might throw my hat in the ring too come June. Right? Give him a heads up on that. So we'll see. We'll see how it works. But I was really pleased that he called back, and I'd like to know too if any of my listeners out there, if anybody has called their MP recently in regards to said censorship and said vaccine and said other bullshit crisis. And if you have, and you haven't had a call back, please let me know. CrustyBCanuck67@gmail.com. Or send me an email here on YouTube or Podbean. Give me a comment or two. Let me know. Let me know if you're actually talking to your MPs about some of these ridiculous mandates and other atrocities coming your way. Coming our way, for that matter. But like I say, I don't think any of these leaders deserve that much. Honestly, I don't. I don't think they deserve any kind of platform other than what they're in right now. But days are getting numbered, ladies and gentlemen. If they do call an election in June, great. But in the meantime, they all deserve
absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Absolutely nothing. And I also want to say a special thank you to everyone who came out to my last live stream there on Thursday. I had Fred Stockman come up last minute, my buddy there from Massachusetts. I had my first guest that had to cancel due to some family emergencies. No fault on his part. Things happen. I get it. So tune in next week, next Thursday at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time if you can. I'll try to have Bennett Hunter on, the Canadian Libertarian. If you watch his show on YouTube and Facebook, he has quite a lot to say about freedom and liberty in this country, which we should all actually pay attention to. A lot of research that he's done. He's had some great guests in his show too. Tim Moyen, I think a couple other political aficionados. But yes, next Thursday, I will have Bennett Hunter on for sure this time. So tune into that, to the Crusty Canuck Thursday Fastball. You'll find me on YouTube and Facebook, respectively. Just to pay attention to my community page on YouTube and my updates on the Facebook page as well. So that should be a good show. And I'll say thank you once again to everybody who came out and asked me some great questions and asked Fred some great questions too. And I'll remind some individuals, please do not be dirty or vulgar. It's one thing dropping an F-bomb or a C-bomb here when you're describing something, but you want to ask us dirty questions, go save it for OnlyFans or get yourself an OnlyFans account, and don't waste our effing time. We like conversation and dialogue, period. So save your porno inquiries for other persons. We don't have time for it. So anyway, carrying on with more of this filibustering crap. More disingenuine, more dishonesty. So what's going to happen? It's a powder keg, folks. It's a bloody powder keg. What else are we going to do? Well, there's also going to be some freedom rallies coming up in the near future, too. So you might see my ugly mug there making an appearance. We'll see. But needless to say, we need these rallies. We need people to get out and speak out against these tickets and all that, too. And there's an interesting story that came out of the Rebel I saw there this morning about an archery club in Edmonton that's had a real hard time with some so-called bylaw officers who couldn't really quote the regulations. But I'll leave a link in my description. You can watch that for yourself. It was quite interesting. Here's this business owner basically questioning the authority of these people and just the bullshit they were promoting, all in the name of public safety, right? So I'll let you decide, ladies and gentlemen. I had quite the chuckle watching it. It was really, really good. So I'll let you decide. Like I said, link in the video description there, so under the Rebel Media. But I don't know what else to say, folks, except more lies are coming our way, So we're going to have to be a little more inquisitive, and we're going to have to dissect the whole issues, really. And we're going to have to ask the tough questions. We have to keep asking the tough questions over and over again, too, right? We are, because things don't look that great. And I'm not trying to be a pessimist or being Mr. Dystopic here. I'm just trying to find light in this darkness and what's going to lie ahead. We've all had these predictions where this is going to change and that's going to change, but I don't buy this new normal BS. I don't buy this. We have to get the vaccinations, because if they're so worried about making sure people get vaccinated, why aren't they making that a priority? Something to think about, right? You can talk it all you want, but if you're not walking it, then what's getting done? It's like I always say, too. All these guys talk a great game, but they fail to fucking lace up. They fail to go into the corners and do the forecheck and do the hard work. They just rather stand there in the blue line, wait for the cheap pass, and then carry on. Cherry pick, right? Well, we've had enough cherry pickers. No more bloody cherry pickers on our fucking horizon, right? We need people that want to do the job and do it well to the best of their fucking abilities, okay? And the so-called educated officials that are willing to fucking harness and censor people all in the name of misinformation or safety. You're not doing us any kind of favors. If all these fact checkers knew exactly what they were fucking doing, they'd be telling us the facts all the goddamn time. And they would be the media aficionados rather than the broadcasters we tune into every night, whether it's before we go to bed or after supper. You know what I'm saying? So common sense, folks, it fails to prevail. But some of us want to find the answers out. So, and just a reminder, too, you can see me on the Adam Daniel Mazet Hidden Gem live stream Sunday. I'll be on that again tomorrow night at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, too. I'll be part of Adam's panel. I don't know what guests we're going to have this week, but it's always a pleasure to join his show, and we can exchange ideas and have great conversations about the plight of our country and the social dilemmas as we see them, too. So please tune into that. Adam Daniel Mazay's Hidden Gem live stream, and also check out his channel, too. And check out Frank P. Vaughn and the Fred Stockman podcast. I'll leave links in the description. I watched a bit of Frank's video the other day, and it was really good. You know, I like his stance. I like his stanza. I like his intelligence. And he's a great guy, ladies and gentlemen. So please check out his work as well. And Fred Stockman, you know, young kid out of Massachusetts there, Kiwi American. He has quite the arsenal of vocabulary against the so-called pop music scene of today, too. So please check his work out as well. But hey, enough of my rambling on. I have been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 13th of February, a day before Valentine's Day. So if you can afford it, go get your loved one a nice box of chocolates, a couple of roses or something, or a nice gesture. You know, a lot of us are going through a real tough time right now. I know I am. Money is kind of tight for me, too. That's why I ask my beautiful listeners, such as yourself, to give, if you can, to donate. You know, I'll remind you, too, join the YouTube page. For $1.99 a month, you get my content and proper accolades, too. And there's other links there where you can donate to your will. Buy me a coffee app, PayPal app, you know, or even just go to my crustycanuck.ca, and there's links there for you to pick how you would like to donate. Every little bit helps. I like to make this podcast, like I say, a full-time job, and to make it bigger and better for all you, my beautiful listeners out there. Right. And again, thank you to everyone who did come out to the live stream, and thank you for a lot of the warm comments that I've been receiving the past few days in regards to what I do and what you do and how we have to get along and try to find the light at the end of this dark fucking tunnel, ladies and gentlemen. Right. So we will persevere. We will get along, hopefully, and we'll get some better people in charge. Like I said, I want to throw my hat in the ring of the VCP party. So if you see my ugly mug in a poster someplace, hey, stop and think about it. You know, I'm willing to go to Parliament and do the hard work, too. Roll my sleeves up and sit there in Parliament and debate and debate and debate. And I am more than willing to make the opposition cry. Right? Figuratively and literally. Something to think about, folks. But like I say, let's do what we can for our neighbors and our friends. Help each other out. Shovel a bit of snow. Get a few extra bucks for groceries or gas. Do what you can. Every little gesture does help, especially these trying times, too. Right? And don't tolerate any of this censorship crap or this misinformation guidelines. Let us get back to basics and find our own information and promote the goodness and the positivity that this country has to offer. Like I say, do what you can for your friends and loved ones, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here.